Hello guys, Izabella Ritz and Amazon Made Simple podcast. Today we will be talking about things that you don't have to make assumptions of. There are things that you have to be pretty much fully aware of because doing Amazon business is like walking on the eggshells. When you're doing Amazon, every single mistake can cost you a lot of money and we're there for profits. Given how many new fees and new updates Amazon is releasing almost every single day, we want to make sure we are staying profitable. And to be profitable is not that hard as long as you understand what you're doing. And today I have absolutely amazing guest that based on her personal experience, based on her personal mistakes, who is also a seller, who is selling on in pet industry, in pet category, which is not the most simple one, learned how to do PPC campaigns. And now she's also helping out a lot of sellers. And today I have Naomi Bohan. And Naomi, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the show. As I was saying, this is my second time, so I'm pumped. I'm stoked. I'm excited to have you here.
Awesome. Naomi, why did you decide to do PPC? It's like one of the most complicated things, one of the most hardest things. And I believe you've been working with Carlos Alvarez on his PPC campaigns in the past. Is it true or I'm missing up something?
No, not necessarily. So I was largely part of the Wizards of Ecom community. I'm just a ghost guest right now because I'm focusing on our business, but I did not help with campaigns. I basically was there helping out with the group. And getting back to the question, the reason why I started with Amazon PPC is, to be upfront, I'm coming from the music industry. It's a total right brain type of industry. It has nothing to do with spreadsheets. It had nothing to do with ads. But whenever we started our own brand selling on Amazon, we needed advertising. I understood that, just as you were saying, we're in a freaking pet niche. I had zero clue what it means to be in the pet niche. And I'm going to be upfront with you, honest. We've been also doing consulting, but you're hoping for the best. And then you discover, oh, shoot, this is actually a Me Too product. How should I survive? Very long story short, I've seen that as my weakness, that I didn't understood how to create ads, what to do, how to use spreadsheet. And that was something that I really understood, that advertising, it's either going to make, either going to break my listing. I had everything
so
set up.
True.
So I did have like influencers and so on. And I had, again, wishful thinking that it's going to work and I'm going to send them the product and they're going to help. But at the end, like when it comes down to what's going on right now, if you don't show to people who are looking for your product or whatever you sell on Amazon that you exist, they're not going to find your product, So very, very long story short, this is how I started basically. And also, it became a passion because I invested so much time, literally 10,000 hours, and became a craft skill. I just discovered that I am a data geek, if it makes sense, and I'm passionate about.
It does make sense. You have another data geek right here in front of you that is like,
there you go.
Yeah, like on my free time, I'm literally building ChatGPTs, trying to figure out how to find the product based on the spreadsheets that I'm uploading into ChatGPT. And like, it's so I got it. I understand your passion. Right. So, okay, let's jump into the details and weird stuff about PPC. So what is going on the market today? And what do you think? What are the most valuable tips you believe people are supposed to know about and maybe they're not paying attention to?
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I think the most valuable tip, and I'm going to be arrogant here, quote unquote, because I know that this is what I was looking for when I started 4 years back, 5 years back, is that most people are so absorbed by shiny objects, which are great, but they are still tips and tricks. And what they lack, most people who either they are starting out their own ads, they're running their own ads, either they are considering having an agency, either they just want to have someone in-house. What they lack is understanding a framework. Because if you don't have a framework in mind, there is no way for you to see what good looks like. So it's going to be very hard for you to understand if you're doing things right, first off. If someone else is doing things right, either agency, either an in-house team member. So based on that, really, I created this framework. Because let's be honest, again, I'm coming from a music mindset, but actually music has a lot to do with whatever we're going to talk about this, because it's a composition, it's layers. So if the first layer is not there, which is the beats, it doesn't really matter because all the rest of them, if they're going to be there, probably is going to be all over the place. So this basically is going to be the beats, quote unquote, or framework when it comes to how to create a PPC campaign and how to think of these campaigns as evergreen, because you can do them You can create these type of campaigns 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. You can create them now, and you probably are going to be able to create them even, I would say, so boldly in 2 years, 3 years, because Amazon, while it's ever changing, these are the basics, fundamental products of Amazon. So they're not going to change them. Did that answer your question?
It does make total
Awesome.
sense,
Perfect.
and you answered the question. To my knowledge, you prepared the presentation that you want to go through, and I don't want to interrupt your flow. So do you want to start right from there and unpack for us the evergreen PPC campaign strategy?
Certainly, I do want to. And mainly the reasoning why I prepared this presentation, I'm a visual learner, and I know that there are people who are listening, and this is how they are going to learn. So I am both a visual and like to hear. If you're one of those type of people, dear listener, this presentation is for you. If you prefer to only listen to it, we'll do our best to go through the whole thing so you can also remember stuff. But again, just to reference, if you want to watch it, you can watch it also on YouTube, as Izabella was mentioning. But a few words about me. I've been on Amazon as a listing and advertising consultant since 2019. Selling since 2020, started ScaleWave, our agency, in 2021. Then with the agency, basically what we're doing, we're helping 6 to 7 figure brands sell successfully on Amazon. We're helping them either with scaling strategies, optimization strategies, but basically everything that has to do with Amazon ads, we're helping them on that end. And also we're Amazon verified partner, which is, again, I love to be an Amazon verified partner because I know clearly that I'm doing things, or whatever we are doing in the agency, Amazon approves. So, but before we're really getting starting, and Izabella, feel free to stop me at any point in time. What I want to convey is really that if your skill is going to be limited to the latest trick you learn, you'll soon become obsolete when the next trick is going to be discovered. And why I'm saying this is because I identify with you, listener. Wherever are you in your journey, even if you're an advanced seller, you might get surprised when I'm talking to 45 out of 50 advertisers and they're saying that they are advanced and they know all the strategies. It's still like a question mark. How would you teach someone else to think in a framework? How would you teach your client to think in this framework? So from beginners to intermediate to advanced sellers, I believe that everyone should watch through, because these are things that I didn't really know how to put it together. It comes down to, whenever it comes to teaching someone else, how would you express this, and this is what I want to convey in this presentation. So what we're going to learn during the presentation is what are the 5 strategies, what is the purpose behind each of the strategy, when to use each of them, the targeting methods, the campaign structure, the ranking power or ranking dominance. And then we're going to give some examples and also bonus tip. So do stay tuned, because this is going to be provided at the end of the video.
Awesome. So it's a lot of knowledge to unpack in just 20 minutes, Naomi. You're challenging yourself a lot.
I recorded myself, and I love to, whenever I'm going to presentations and so on, I love to be on time. So I'm going to make sure that it's going to be set in 20 minutes, under 20 minutes. So shall we do it?
Yeah.
But really, as I was saying, most importantly, what you'll learn is how to think like a tactical ad strategist rather than being someone who implements the latest tips and tricks. Most people are implementing the latest tips and tricks, and this is why they cannot distinct what good looks like and define what the good looks like. The very first strategy that we're going to talk about is the protect strategy. And here, basically, the purpose is going to be to cover real estate on your own listing. You would use this one to implement first within your strategy. I would say the CPC cost, usually here, it can really depend, but usually it is going to be the cheapest cost. Targeting method is going to be either async targeting, either keyword targeting. Campaign types that you can use here is sponsored product, sponsored brand video, and sponsored display. And ranking power or ranking dominance is going to be vertical and horizontal. I'm going to give an example as well. But ranking power might sound something out of your comfort zone. It's something that I came up with. Brandon Young has something similar. He's calling them root keywords. It's quite the same technique behind it, but basically what we want to distinct is vertical ranking is exact matches. So we want to show up for that particular keyword and we want to dominate for it particularly. Horizontal ranking will also help with organic ranking, but this goes like on a larger level. Here we would use broad, phrase, auto, and category targeting. And giving you an even more example, we have our supplier, and she is the cutest, sweetest of all. And she's always asking, Noemi, is it going to be air shipping? Is it going to be fast shipping or slow shipping? So giving you the 2 examples, The vertical ranking is the jet. So that's going to be the fast shipping. The horizontal ranking is the very slow boat that is going to bring so much traffic, but is going to be on a slower rate. So did that actually exemplify, or did that explain a bit better what these two terms mean? I'm just also curious on your end.
That totally makes sense. And I would also ask you a question, but I believe you're about to answer them a little bit after you will cover this part, because I have questions about DSP and brand campaigns, but I will keep it, I will save it for a little bit later.
Sure thing. So, and basically, what would it mean for you? Let's say that you're the brand Huggies, and here, for example, if you would run sponsored products, you would do keyword targeting and you would show up on top of search. For example, in this scenario, if you're going to watch this on YouTube, you would have like a better idea. It's visualized. But basically, the brand keyword is going to be Huggy. The branded keyword is going to be Huggies baby diapers. The asyn targeted, it's going to be your own asyn. And this is kind of the gist of it. When it comes to sponsored products, again, product targeting, it would show up in rest of search. Again, if you're a visual learner, you will see where would the ad show up. And then the next is going to be sponsored brand headline ads. Again, the same thing. We would type Huggies. You would find the first headline ad, which is going to be with your brand. And then sponsored brand video, you would show up for your own video.
How many placements would you recommend to fight for on one page, on the first page?
How much budget do you have?
Well, it always depends on the product. Like Huggies, they probably can do like pay to play, and they will still be profitable because people are buying Huggies because they're Huggies, not because they are like cheaper or more expensive, because just the brand recognition and trust. So if we're talking about tactics, not about budget.
I'm actually, the reason why I'm asking that is because tactics go hand in hand with budget. Yeah. Most of the time, what I'm seeing, that these are huge brands, large brands. They don't mind to spend a lot of money because they have a lot of money and because they understand lifetime value of a customer. Thinking of myself, I just bought an Olay cream, I think 15 years ago. I'm still using the freaking Olay cream that I bought on Amazon. And right now, if I'm being shown other Olay creams, I'm still going to go and click on the sponsor that's showing up first for the Olay cream that I want. So getting back to what you were saying, I think most of the time you really have to see what is your budget situation. Because if your budget really doesn't permit, you should not be running these ads. But if it does, these are the first ads that you would start, because here I'm also talking about remembering that this strategy is really a defense strategy. It's an insurance policy that no one else is going to show on your listing. If your budget does not allow, you should not be running these campaigns. But if it does,
if the budget will let you do stuff. So for example, like my personal opinion, if you don't have to or you shouldn't launch business on Amazon if you are mismanaging expectations, like unless you're ready to pay to win, you should not do this business at all. Like if people are dreaming about stars that will be coming from the sky into their pockets and they just have to open their pockets like, oh, listen, I have a lot of money because they're coming from the tree from somewhere out there. That's not true. Like Amazon is there for you as long as you are joining the game. And if you are thinking that like you invested $3,000 and now $300,000 will be on your bank account, that's like false information. That's misleading. So that's why I am more on the side of the tactics versus money, because we live in US and most of the people that live in US, they have access to funds. And by having access to funds, you always can make it work as long as you know how to do it, right? And as you know, there are two type of people. I mean, there are plenty of type of people, but the primary one that are saying, oh, if you have money, you can figure things out. But those that who have money, they're like, I actually do have budget, but I want to know how can I mitigate the risk and eliminate my mistakes. And that's why I am on the side of like, what tactics should we take and invest today rather than we will not be able to invest in the future because we will run out of budget and we didn't utilize the tactics that we could to be in a win-win situation in like a month or 2 or 3. Make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does. Okay, again, then tactical, I would advise the same thing because you have the budget for it. First off, run these ads and then see if you're losing money on this. And then you also can see what is the CPC, because to be honest, when you're going to start out, you're going to run these ads. I mean, might be a brand that has a large budget, but if they're unknown known on Amazon, the CPC is still going to be really low for competing on their own listings. The moment that that's going to change, the moment that you're going to be that blip, on the map, because you're taking out a lot of market share, if you're running ads, if your product is super optimized, if you started your product launch with Izabella for sure, so you're going to take up a lot of market share, and then it's going to become, oops, now I have to pay $5 to show up on my own listing, and then it's going to become, is this once I'm going to buy this product and that's it? Or do I have repeat customers? Because if I do have repeat customers, and if they are not finding my product, and if they are not choosing from maybe other variations that I may have, I'm losing brand recognition from them. So it really comes down to how much do you want to invest when you want to protect your own listing. And if you're really bleeding money, it's really a decision. Is this product something that is going to be like, it's consumable? Is something that every time they are going to repeat, so lifetime value is high? Or is this a product that it's not, And to be honest, for most products that have zero brand recognition, they should not be maybe running this type of ads. But I would say at the beginning, at least run these, because it might be that you're running an influencer campaign. It might be that you're running something else. And people know you because you said, hey, I'm presenting myself. My name is Noemi. Who are they going to look up for on YouTube, on Amazon, and so on? They're going to look for Noemi, even it's like small word, So that's why I'm saying that if they, if
you're
even
like it.
they
There
are
is not
not
a lot
able,
of Naomi. Like if you will
yeah,
be,
so,
yeah.
so that's why I'm
Naomi
saying.
Campbell. That's it. And then the second one is you. There is no more Naomi's. But anyway, go ahead.
So you do have a good way to put people in a very good mood, so appreciate that. But yeah, but that is my thought process behind it, because the idea is that always think of yourself as either no one knows you, so I just presented myself at the beginning of the video, probably like your audience already knows me, or probably I have the impression that everyone knows me, but it might be no one knows me, or might be that everyone knows me, So based on those two statuses, you're going to pay for that status. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope. If not, we can go into more details. We're 20 minutes on, and we're on the first slide. Just keep in mind.
Yeah, let's move to the defense strategy that you started talking about, and I interrupted you.
No, you didn't interrupt. I love your questions, and this is why we are here to think through, right?
Hello, everyone. Izabella Ritz and Amazon Made Simple. I want to make sure you're getting the biggest value as possible from my podcast and from every single video I put out there. Please make sure to subscribe to my newsletter that I am posting the link below this video, and you'll be always up to date with the product research, validation, and development. It's completely free, promotion free, pure value forever and ever.
The conquering strategy, basically, it's exactly the same thing that we just talked about, but the opposite of that. So what we would do with this one, we would cover the real estate on our competitors' listing. We would use this for whenever we have advantage over our competitors. The CPC cost here is wildly dependent on the brand recognition. So it's also wildly dependent on the targeting mesh types and the ad types that we're running. When it comes to the targeting method here, we can run keyword targeting for their branded name, and we can also run async targeting for their own asyncs. The campaign types that you can run here is really sponsor product, sponsor brand video, and sponsor display ads. The ranking dominance here is going to be both vertical and horizontal. And let me show you just some examples afterwards. But basically, just think of it. What is your advantage over the competitor? Do you have a strong market share? Do you have more reviews? Do you have better pricing? Do you have a lower price? Do you have a better image? Is your listing more optimized? Had Izabella done all those Bigfoot testings for your listing that is freaking amazing? You're blowing up water and competitors are just disappearing? Because if so, you have a competitive advantage, right? Do you offer any coupons, any BOGO offers, any subscribe and save? Do you have anything else that is more than the competitor? Because if you do, you can target the competitors who are weaker than you. They have weaker market share, they have weaker ratings, they might have the same price or even higher price. Their listing might be unoptimized, and they might not be using the coupons, offers, and so on and so forth. So the idea with this strategy, really going back to Huggies, they would target, for example, Pampers, baby diapers, and they would show up on their listing. Again, here, when it comes to the strategy...
absolutely unrelated, but kind of related. As you know, I had a baby just recently. Recently, a year ago. So Huggies and Kirkland, if you go to Costco, Kirkland are selling exactly the same diapers as Huggies. more than they're
Mm-hmm.
subcontracting Huggies to manufacture their diapers. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
wondering, for those people that like the target audience, the buyers that don't know that they do so, and if Kirkland will advertise their diapers on Amazon, which I believe they don't, because I also think they have a policy to sell it only in Costco. But anyway, anyhow, if they would sell their diapers on Amazon, would they advertise it on Huggies, or they will have something that they cannot do it? What are your thoughts? Because
Whoever,
here will be like several things. Here's like Amazon advertisement policy and brand to brand relationships. When brand will let
yeah,
you do that, and brand will not let you do that. Makes sense?
it does. And as I was saying, I do believe that it has to do with, are you going to go against Amazon?
Yeah,
First
that's what I'm
question.
thinking.
Probably
Yeah.
you're not. Probably you're not because you don't have the money because they are going to like, again, going back to the strategy, you're not weaker than the competitor is not weaker than you. So you would not, again, not have any tactical advantage, anything in pricing, anything, or so on and so forth. Do you have more brand recognition than Amazon? You might, but Amazon, it's Amazon, and people might prefer a $5 cheaper product than your product. So I believe that while your question is great, I don't think it has to do with the strategy that we're talking about, because in this case, the competitor is way stronger.
It's like
Yeah.
one brand to brand, like subcontracting, and like there are a lot of products like Amazon is subcontracting bigger brands and selling
Yeah.
cheaper. So same like Kirkland is subcontracting brand and make it cheaper. So then they will advertise on Huggies selling cheaper because they will take advantage of Huggies. So anyway, it's just the point for some people that are subcontracting big brands to launch their products on e-commerce or retail or whatever. But
Certainly, the end goal really is take advantage of whatever the competitor doesn't
yeah,
has. If you win over, win big. That would be the
yeah,
idea,
that's so true.
So that's it. And also, like, just wanted to showcase here, like, the sponsored product, it really depends on the what match type are you going to choose, because the bids are going to depend on that, and also sponsor brand video the same way. And really remember, in this scenario, whenever we're creating conquer campaigns, is that this strategy should be used to identify keywords and products that generate sales at a relatively low ACOS. This is not, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to take up your market share when you're a strong brand, but rather than, hey, I'm going to piggyback on you not paying attention, or you not paying the 10,000 hours into your craft, basically. So unoptimized for ratings and costly items, those are going to be our competitors. And with that being said, let's go to the third strategy. This is the ranking strategy. Most people know about this strategy. Basically here, this strategy is really much more, I would say it's associated with product launches. It can be used for product launches, but also not necessarily. So first off, it's going to be the purpose behind to show first, like on the first page, visibility in exact match campaigns. We would use this strategy to increase organic ranking. So it doesn't matter if it's product launch, if it's relaunch, if it's whatsoever launch. The strategy behind is I want to rank organically for specific keywords, and I'm going to start exact match campaigns. The CPC cost here, it's a wide range between super small CPC to hundreds of dollars of CPC. It can happen. It depends really much on the competitiveness of the category. And targeting methods here would be keywords targeting in exact match. I would highly recommend for this type of campaigns to create sponsored product campaigns, because what we've seen on our end, also, like, I'm curious on yours, what we've seen is sponsored product help ranking way better and help support that ranking position compared to sponsored brand video ads. We ran both of them, and again, most of the accounts that we've seen, they were running a lot of sponsored brand video ads. Sponsored brand video ads is quite similar to like Facebook ads or Google ads or so on. Kind of that is the ranking power. So I would just like advise everyone who's like watching this or like listening to this, stop here, go into your campaign manager and see like how do these two compare? Because actually we've seen this because we did the wrong way. So we maximized a lot of sponsored brand video ads, and they worked brilliantly because the competition didn't run them. And then what we realized is that because we had so much advantage on that and we invested so much budget in sponsored brand video ads, actually sponsored products were kind of neglected, and those are the most revenue bringers. Just again, heads up here. That being said, I believe that this strategy should be used also for product launches, and also super important. Most people are not realizing this one, but whenever someone is coming to you and they are asking for optimization, they are asking you for profitability, what they might think is that it's going to be the same price. It's going to cost you the same price. No. So you can cut down on budget that is not optimally used, I would put it that way. But if you really want to keep certain positions for specific keywords, those are the keywords that are bringing most of your revenue. And usually within accounts, we see up to 3 to 5 keywords that are really the most revenue bringers. The moment that we're starting optimizing bids, we're going to show up in different placements. And that is going to generate different amount of sales. So I would highly advise everyone who's running ranking campaigns to be aware of the fact that the moment that you're going to lower your bids for a specific keyword that you think that you're getting enough sales for, competition is going to catch up and they're going to take over the keywords. So keywords to use really is going to be, you can do a reverse ASIN lookup. You can also do keyword harvesting from search term reports data. If you already have run your campaigns, you can use a brand analytics report, a search query performance report. And here just showcasing quickly, I know that you guys also are using Helium 10, or using both Helium 10 and both data dive, but because most people are using Helium 10, the process that you would do is you would select the top 10 competitors or your product and then the top 10 competitors, and then you would look into the position ranking. So basically, where do they show up on the first page? And you can really play around with this since I was doing the filtering on something that is super, super competitive. So on these baby diapers, position rank for me, it was like 5. It was really important to see, okay, at least on the 5th page, and then show up, because it was a different strategy. It was a really dominant type of strategy that we're going to go in next. Word count, we were looking for keywords that had at least 4 words inside them. Again, this is going to tell you how competitive the niche it is. Match type, we're looking for organic ranking. We excluded also all the keywords that were brand related. So in this scenario, everything that is Pampers, Huggies, Amazon Prime, deals, we didn't want to have within our search volume, because the total search volume without all these filterings was around 200,000, 300,000 keywords, which it's a lot. And then what we did also, we applied this filter of ranking competitors. So out of all the competitors that you have, how many of those, all of those would have those keywords that you're looking for, You can add up to 9 competitors, 10 competitors, nothing is going to show, but 9 competitors, that means 9 out of the 10 competitors that you're going to target, they all must rank between those criteria that you selected. And yeah, we ended up with 37 keywords that are at least 4 plus words that are organically ranking, that have position at least maximum 5, and these would be the keywords that we actually looked up then again in a deeper research to see which one makes sense for us, and we would start advertising for it. But this would be the strategy. It's very tactical when it comes to this, and I'm sure that you guys also are doing an amazing job. This is just one scenario that you would use it. You can choose different positions, you can choose like different word count depending on the strategy, but just wanted to give you
with those filters in Cerebro and Magnet, you can do so many things. You can find out like the keywords you're supposed to be ranked, the keywords that will make you sales, the keywords that are having high search volume don't make you any sales, insights that people are searching for. It's a lot, and just if you will be running live, you can stay just on this page explaining how to read the numbers for hours. So thank you so much for this very informative summary.
Sure thing. Yeah, the purpose really, it was to understand the framework and not go behind everything, because behind everything, as you were saying, each of the slides, it's its own topic of half an hour. So going into the next strategy though, dominate. This is one of the favorite strategies that you can use. This is also one of the most expensive ones. The top is going to be here. The top purpose is going to be to show up on top of search visibility. So we would use this strategy whenever we want to dominate search results, and the CPC cost is really the highest. This is the Manhattan real estate, when it comes to Amazon. And basically here, what we would be doing, we would do keyword targeting in exact match, and the campaign types can be sponsor product, sponsor brand video, sponsor display ads. We would rank here for dominance, and this is going to be a vertical ranking. Before I am just moving to the next slide, a question that is coming up also quite often is what's the difference between ranking and a dominate campaign? Usually for the dominate campaigns, we would use 1 keyword per campaign, and then we would have the most control over the budget, because this is the campaign that can spend a lot of money, can be super successful, can go very, very wrong as well. So whenever you would create dominate campaigns, you should have a lot of data on the keywords that you want to target. And then again, what we would do here, we would either use placement modifiers. We would use a suggested bid, either we would use a hybrid of those two. So we would use both the highest bid and also placement modifier, and then play around. The end goal is that you're going to show up first ones from the four to five placements that are going to show up, basically. And for example, if Amazon is suggesting you
So
to
there you put the biggest placement increase, like up to 900%. Do you do it with the highest bid, or do you play with this when you put the lowest bid?
I would actually suggest here to play around. What we've seen is that 2 years ago, if we had a lowest bid and if we had the placement modifier of 900, it worked. We just checked out the same strategy a month ago, 2 weeks ago, or something like that. It did not work anymore. So the idea here is that you want to show up within the first ones, and you would play around. And this is why I was saying that right now we are using a hybrid model of the highest bid, and also we have the placement modifier. And then once that we get some clicks, we will notice, okay, how much does this click cost us? Make sense?
Okay, yeah, does make sense.
Yeah, because otherwise what's going to happen is that you might think that you're going to show up on top of search, but Amazon, it's not triggering the algorithm to believe that you actually are willing to pay that much. So again, end goal is to show up in the top 4 to 5 sponsored product placement, top of search ads. And as I was saying, playing around with low bid, high placement, and high bid, low placement. End goal, go in incognito, take the keyword. Is your product showing up within the first 5 placement? You created the dominant campaign. And then the last one, this is discovery, is also one of the more known type of campaign types. And here the purpose is going to be to discover new search terms. We would use this in order to harvest different search terms. So this can also be used at any stage of your product, even at the beginning, again, depending on the budget, during the whole phase of the product. The CPC cost here, while it seems the cheapest cost, it's actually very tricky, because if you don't know how to use negative keywords for these harvesting campaigns, this can be one of the campaigns that can blow up a lot of budget without significant results when it comes to organic ranking. So this needs to be monitored really much. And then the targeting method here would be auto campaigns, broad, phrase, category match campaigns. The campaign types that we would be using here is sponsored product, sponsored brand video, sponsored display. Again, all these are optional depending on your budget. If you have the budget, do for all of them. The ranking dominance is going to be horizontal, because we're ranking like step by step for those keywords. And here, for example, what you can do, you can download your search term reports if you already have data. And then based on those search term reports, you would go in and see which are the keywords that actually generated at least 3 sales. And then I can create their own campaigns and then see what is going to work and which are the keywords that are going to be triggered. As I was saying, this is really one of the most used strategies, but this one also can go really wrong for 2 reasons. One, it might be that it's too broad and you're going to attract a lot of keywords. Second, again, new mistakes is that you're going to add a ton of negative searches that actually are going to stop impressions. So what I would advise everyone listening is to, whenever they are creating their discovery campaigns, to ensure that the negatives that they are going to add it only for maybe one campaign, see how it's going to perform, and then add it to more campaigns, rather than negativing everything and then where did my impression go? Because that is the worst thing. Whenever you are doing something and you cannot find out what you did wrong, but it's just like, it's horror, So I would highly advise test on a small sample and then see how it works. If it works well, bring it also into other campaigns. Bonus tip, are we ready for this?
Yeah, always.
How to troubleshoot. So this is one of the things that, okay, now you understand the framework. Now you set it up. But what happens when nothing happens? Or what happens when what's next? It's not working as I expected. So one of the most frequent things that can happen is if you get clicks but no conversions, then we would advise to optimize listing. Again, Izabella, she's a genius. I was just telling you about all the Bigfoot tests that they are doing.
Podcast, so many compliments.
It's not. What I'm saying is that most people are missing what you guys are doing, and this is why they are paying so much in ads. And this is something that we are trying to educate our clients, because, I can run a lot of traffic to your listing. If the main image sucks,
or the product is horrible.
Even so, yeah. Clearly. Okay, let me put it this way. The product, I hope that's really good. But if the main image sucks, it's like no one's going to click within the listing, So Again, that is something that you can troubleshoot, look through your listing, whatever can be improved, especially the main image. And of course, we understood already the product. Second thing, if there are impressions but no clicks, what we would do, we would increase bids again by 25% to ensure that we are showing up on top of search. And here, quick, super helpful tip that is going to maybe not be so clear at the beginning, checking placements. So it's going to be really important. If you're running a ranking campaign or if you're running a dominate campaign, and for you it's important to show up on top of search and you're getting most of your impressions for rest of search or product pages, that means that you're getting a lot of eyeballs in the wrong places. So what you would do is you want to ensure that you're showing up where you want to show up. For discovery campaigns or for like other type of campaigns that are just going to bring up, step by step the keywords, it does not matter. But when you are using the ranking strategies or dominant strategies, this is highly important. Again, if there are impressions with no conversions, you would check for placement. And then if the budget runs out before Pacific time, midnight, decide to increase the budget based on the campaign performance. Again, it's so funny that you might think that everyone knows this type of this is what you should be doing, or the freaking Pacific time. But I am certain that most sellers have no clue. That's Pacific time. It's not your own time zone, and they're freaking out. And for example, now it's 2:51 here. Actually, in California, it's that people are just partying. They're just starting out their day, So
in Hawaii, it's actually, I believe, 9 a.m. Yeah, it's
there you go.
If you're in Europe, it's already night. So yeah, totally agree with the Pacific time, and this is where all these tips are coming together, and this is where you can fail or succeed when you're doing everything right or wrong here. And you have one more thing.
Yeah, I do, and exactly has to do with what you were saying. So I would advise everyone, expect that Amazon will continue bringing out new ad products, so always be prepared to learn each new feature rollout. You don't have to be on freaking out, shiny object syndrome. No, but just be aware of it and then notice if this is something that is applicable right now for my product, I'm going to consider it, I'm going to look into it. But if not, just have it there in your back of your mind that is something new that it might be important for me. Do you want to say something or?
That was awesome. First of all, you prepared for the podcast like probably nobody else in the past. And you have something more coming. Yeah, go ahead.
It has three things. So
it's the first podcast when I'm interviewing somebody. First of all, I don't have to ask questions. Person prepared, and she's just really she's ready to keep going, throwing more and more and more and more. Even we have to wrap up, but she's like, "No, Izabella, stop! I have more things."
This is the most important. Really, there are only 3 more slides. This is really important. Amazon is self-serving, so if you don't regularly check for changes, Amazon will ensure to profit from your lack of attention. This is something that I want to share from someone who loves Amazon, someone who makes money from Amazon, on Amazon, and 2 brands on Amazon. If you're not going to check regularly whatever changes they do, I'm not sure if you guys had the experience of Amazon just changed a freaking bid placement. It was initially bids down only, fixed bids and fixed bids up and down. And they just changed overnight the up and down, and then down only. And what we ended up doing, and not only we, but I just again talked to a lot of advertisers, because they missed that one thing, they spent a ton of money and they didn't know what's going on, and really took weeks to figure out, a few days to figure out top 1 week, but still that much, and not knowing whatever it's going to do. So I would highly advise that.
Unless you have alerts installed, you will never figure out. And even alerts will not probably catch it, because
that's the thing. It's not catching the alerts. So this is why I'm saying you have to be in the account, because if you're not in the account, and even if you're in the account, the freaking routine of checking always the same box, and if they change the boxes, even you won't notice. And then you have to become better at understanding your competitors. Remember, if your skill is limited to the latest tricks and tips that you learned, you'll soon be obsolete when the next trick is going to be discovered. Very last slide. If you're ready to grow, we're here to lead the way. I'm also sharing here a quick QR code for listeners. You can check this on YouTube. If not, you can write scalewave.io, and there you can find out more about us. You can contact us at contact@scalewave.io. And also I'm sharing here my LinkedIn. Easiest way to find me is Noemi Bolojan, Noemi Bolojan. And just type that in LinkedIn, and I have to say that I'm the only Noemi Bolojan, so you're going to find me. This really comes with my presentation.
Yeah, I just realized that I did not pronounce your last name correctly, so I apologize for that. Yeah. Well, Naomi, that was great, amazing. You provided so much value in such a short period of time, and I am sure for our listeners, they have to go back, pause it, write it down, go back, pause it, write it down, which is great because that will increase my engagement and that will add them a lot of things to implement. And if you guys feel that you're struggling with implementation, Naomi is always there to help. And we're posting the links below the podcast and below the YouTube, whatever place you are watching and listening, so you can connect and contact her better and faster. And keep in mind, she's releasing a lot of useful information on LinkedIn. As long as you're following, you're always on top of the updates. And as Naomi was mentioning, sometimes the updates are not being alerted and you even know what to look at. Like ads stopped working. Yesterday I was listening for Alex Hormoz's podcast and he said he got a question from one of the listeners. They said, my ads were working and everything was fine. And then they stopped working. So what are you supposed to do? And he said, well, that's the thing with the ads. Sometimes they're working, and then they're not. And then you have to solve the puzzle. So the puzzle is always there. If you don't want to solve the puzzle yourself, go to the experts. And that's the best way to go about it. Naomi, thank you. And I'll talk to you in the next podcast.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.